welcome to This and That. We are your hosts. I'm Ryan.
And I am Maggie.
Woohoo! Sorry that we're late. That was I'm going to take credit for that. My
No, you
wife,
had a brilliant idea of streaming live on TikTok, and we had some technical difficulties. It
yes,
was only your brilliance that made us late. So give yourself credit for that, Ryan.
I'm
Okay, come
trying.
on,
I'm
come
trying.
on.
I'm trying. Okay. So, but anyway, it's kind of nice because we didn't really get a chance to talk in the green room like we normally do. So
That's right.
this is going to be pretty much our normal conversation that everybody gets to see.
You know
So
what? And that's why it's this and that, because we have a lot to discuss. What I love about Ryan more than anything is that you're my perfect partner in crime. No, you really are. You're my perfect partner in crime. Because even last week we're like, let's not do the show.
yeah,
We're both freaking busy. And but there's so much to catch up on, and
yeah,
there's so many things that politics is always moving, and so is the world. But
yeah,
we'll just go with the flow, and that's how we roll, right?
that's right. So with that in mind, let's move on
Mm-hmm.
to our first topic, which we're gonna roll with Madison Cawthorn first. Let's go there. So I'm gonna let you take this one first because I have a feeling you have
You
some funny
know,
takes.
Okay, so okay, I will just preface this. I did a TikTok yesterday about Madison because I was kind of like holding it all together for him. It's everything since exposing the GOP from the wild coke sex orgies to to what was, and then the lingerie photos that were leaked,
Yep.
which were, he says they were from a party. And honestly, anyone from the left is like, who cares? But only because he is this super right wing, super homophobic, kind of like I don't like anything out of the norm kind of guy. That's why it catches you off guard, right? And you're
Yeah.
like, you're cooler than you're letting yourself on to be. Why not just be your true self, right? Just
Well,
be who you are, man. So then I did it. And then the latest thing, well, what I thought was the latest thing was him bringing a freaking gun to the airport.
mm,
He brought a loaded gun to the airport, and I did a whole TikTok being like his PR agent, like, well, obviously that was a great PR stunt to like make everything else go away. And then literally someone was just like, I wish this was the latest information about Madison Cawthorn, but it's not. We've seen the latest one is him getting, kind of groped in a car by one of his staff members, right?
that
And
that's turning out to be quite the interesting story.
yes,
Um,
go.
well, okay, I want to back up just a little bit because I actually appreciate something that you said here, which is we all like I took that photo and I think I said something like this is Madison Cawthorn not attending the coke and orgy parties. I think is what I said.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to note that as Democrats and the left and the liberals and whatever you want to call yourselves, we really don't care. Like Maggie said, you're cooler than you let everybody know about. What we're
We
upset
love people being who they want to be.
exactly what we're really using this as a talking point is that it's the hypocrisy. It's the things that you stand up for as a conservative, as a Republican, as
Yep.
a patriot, as you call yourself, whatever it is, as you're punching trees.
Yep.
But the reality is that there's so much hypocrisy, and we're seeing it now.
Yeah.
And to go on to what Maggie was about to say, it's really starting to look like this dude may be in some type of a relationship with a staffer of his, and it looks like it's dating back to like at least 2018.
Yeah.
So again, while I don't give a flying hoot who you want to be with, but
Hmm.
it's really interesting to me that somebody who may very well, if all this is true, let's start with that,
Yeah.
that he very well may be in uh, a relationship with a man, or at least having some type of a relationship with a man. And
Yeah.
if that's the case, why are you voting against your own best interests?
And
Like,
I think that's the question though, right? And I think that is exactly what um keeps people from crossing over to the left sometimes. Imagine, I mean, I don't know about you, but I was raised in a very highly democratic, liberal place. I have from the moment I was a young child, I had a cousin who is a lesbian. I knew exactly what homosexuality was from an early age, and it was widely accepted in my family.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing. And I think, and I can't speak for anyone that may have those the need or feeling that they have to repress who they are for what they stand for. And can you imagine somebody like Madison Cawthorn, who has literally gone the distance to um be this altruistic religious like zealot kind of guy,
Yeah.
and then and then I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be deny, deny, deny. And actually, most of the time, a lot of people on the right would be like, I don't care either. And a lot, you hear that a lot too. And I'm totally here for that, because most people on the right actually don't care about that. It's only the super really like, you know,
Well, I don't know if I
intense.
necessarily agree with that, because if that were true, I don't think that we would be seeing the amount of laws that we're seeing, both proposed and actually passed and signed across the country. So I'm not sure if I agree with.
That's true. Well, that's
But I will. I do.
that's
I do.
Christian based in certain places. And
True.
like, if you think about what majority really is, and we know what majority is, and how most people are like, I may be religious, it's not what I feel, but I really just don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, but then there are these pockets where they need their vote to be a certain way, and that's where they swing, and that's why they do these things.
Yeah.
That's why it appalls us all so much, right?
Yeah. It's just, we're fighting things here in Arizona, which, by the way, Nancy Frazee, she was in my TikTok. If you're still here, please go follow her. I'm working on her campaign. She's running for the same seat that I was. So nancy4az.com is also her website. Go check her out. I'm more than happy to be a part of her team. And yes, she's amazing. So please go follow her. Side note. And the reason I'm saying that is because she's very for trans and LGBTQ rights, and she's a teacher, and she's very open about that, with her students and her teachers. So trust me, she's the type of representative that we need.
Right on.
But it's just really, I'm just really disappointed, because I still look at everything from a standpoint of, I don't know who my kids are going to grow up to be. My daughter could grow up and decide that she wants to be with women. My son could grow up and decide he wants to be with boys, or he likes both. Who knows?
For sure.
It's just, I guess my fear as a parent and as a man is that I'm going to come on one of these shows and do one of these shows and say something that's going to be online forever. And that my kids will see it, and they will end up being the person that I was talking about when I said ignorant comment. And you know what I mean? So like,
I hear you.
It's literally that deep for me. I'm like, man, because my kid could end up being like that. And if my kid ends up being gay, and they look back and see 3 years of content of their dad being a homophobe, and a trans.
But that's not you in any way, shape, or form. We know that.
But hopefully, by talking about that, hopefully more men will start to look at that and be like, look, I get the toxic masculinity crap, and I was raised with the same shit. Like, I didn't have the same growing up as you did. But it was very interesting, because my dad, I would say my dad he definitely had bigotry, in there, but at the same time, he had like some black friends. But he made very inappropriate jokes depending on who the company was. And I started to see that when I got to be in my later teens, and we got into it a couple times over, because I was like, that's really disappointing, to hear you using the N-word, because you wouldn't use that word with, Barry, with these other people that in your life that you respect, that I know you respect, but you're not respecting them when you're doing it behind closed doors either. And that was where him and I, started to have the battle. But my mom, when she left, she ended up marrying a black guy. So my entire time growing up, I was going between a somewhat racist household to a household where I would go into situations to be one of two white people.
Yeah.
In a whole house full of black folks. And the killing part was they were always very accepting of me and treated me great. Like, I really don't have any bad stories, but it was just, that was the difference. I would go from one, social atmosphere to another, and seeing that, I
Yeah.
guess, you don't know it at the time, but it was very formative. Now that I look back, it was very
Oh,
formative of how
you
I
don't know how things are formative until you look back sometimes, right?
no, you really don't.
You
So
don't know.
it's
Well, I mean,
just,
I grew up in the Bay Area where, it's as diverse as it comes here,
yeah.
and um, so for me, diversity was always the norm. Okay, and even in my high school, I was even being a white person was a minority, and didn't bother me whatsoever because it had no bearing on anything for me.
Yeah.
I loved everyone, and I loved being around people of different cultures and different races and learning things. Uh, Quick story: my mom actually grew up in Alabama,
Mm,
and she was there. Or she was actually where they moved around a lot because her dad was a military guy, and so she was always moving from place to place. But she was actually in Montgomery, Alabama, when the whole Rosa Parks thing happened,
mm, yep.
and they actually used to have. And my mom would tell me these stories as a young girl. They used to have a African American woman as their housekeeper, and her dad would drive her home every day, and she would duck down in the back seat of his car because it was just not safe that he was taking her home in his car every single day. And even though he was a drinker and he was a white guy, and I'm sure he had his own things, but he was still pretty progressive, I think, even for the time then. And
Well,
still did but those stories that my mom would tell me resonated with me as a child because she, never let me um, think that the world is this like utopian place. Always laid it out as, let me tell you how things were when I was a kid.
yeah.
Segregation was real in the South, and because she was born in Texas, moved all around in the South. I mean, the stories hit me. So even from what I get as a super liberal from California, I take those stories and they've shaped me. Like you said, they formed who I am, just
Yeah.
knowing them.
I'll try something. I'm listening.
I know you are.
Keep talking.
I'm trying to adjust this. This is
I
fascinating.
well, no,
We are dual streaming.
I
Mhm.
plugged my mic in. I plugged my mic in on my side, so that
Mhm.
should stop your audio from coming out. And if that works,
I
then
still hear your audio a little bit. Do you hear a little bit feedback from me?
no, because that's what I did. I took my mic off so that there won't be any feedback on my end.
Okay. Hey, okay. We're good.
So
Hey,
hopefully that works. Wow, that's
hey,
really
Fish and
cool.
Doc, how you doing?
How do I sign? Do I sound okay on TikTok, guys? Hey, facts matter. Thanks for being in here, man. Thanks for moderating. Um,
All right. So have we
yeah,
exhausted
we went.
Madison? But you know
Well,
what? It's all related. It's all about
it is, and
because we don't know what's definite about Madison Cawthorn right now or not. I think that's the bottom line of it,
I
right?
think what really interests me, and to me, I want to start with this. This this isn't our business. I really do want to start with that. I'm not talking about the pictures of him in the thing, whatever.
You're so right.
But there's screenshots of um, payments, Venmo payments that were made between him and this particular staffer, and they were
Mm,
accompanied with some very suggestive comments, and if they are in fact real,
yeah,
then Madison Cawthorn has been keeping a big secret from his constituents and the American people, which is
for
fine.
sure. Yeah.
But the reality is that this if that stuff is true, this guy has been living a double life,
Oh,
and
for sure.
and
But
it's
I appreciate what you said, though. It is none of our business
it
because
isn't.
you know what? We don't know exact. There's no ever reason to know why someone wouldn't want to come out if
I
that
get
is the
it.
case, right?
Yeah.
Well, and there's many reasons, I
Yep.
mean, and I can only imagine for somebody that has built his career on, you know, religious piety and uh, being
He,
a being that kind of America kind of guy.
Yeah.
That it makes sense. It checks with me, and I get that,
And
right?
you want to know how I think of it? A different way to think of it too, Maggie,
Yeah,
is think about anything that you come out publicly about. It now being gay is not necessarily the same thing because that it comes with a whole different stigma. But I had a similar battle when I was like, well, do I talk about being bipolar publicly or do I keep it to myself?
yeah,
And at the end of the day, what I decided was that keeping it to myself wasn't going to help anybody else. And it really wasn't going to help me either because it was going to be me bottling up what I was actually dealing with and trying to make myself appear to be somebody I wasn't to everybody on the outside.
for sure.
And I realized pretty quickly that that wasn't healthy and that I
Yeah.
wasn't going to be able to do that long term.
Oh, for
So
sure.
so for me, it really was those two simple things. Was I wanted to help people with my story. I wanted people to see that you can be successful. You can, once you figure out that you're bipolar and get medicated and get help, yes, you can get your shit back together. You can,
Yeah.
it's okay. And then it really made the choice easy because helping others is a noble thing, and
Oh,
it's what
I completely agree.
and mental health with the stigma that's attached to it, it's very similar to the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, yeah,
Not as much violence and stuff like that, but the social stigma is similar. So
definitely.
it's just I feel bad for Madison Cawthorn because he feels like he needs to hide who he is. It sounds like. Um, I hope that if this is who he is, that he can come out publicly and hopefully let that burden go. And I hope that uh, he's met with more love and acceptance than hate. And
Hmm.
yeah,
I love seeing the tweets and the things that people mean, like, "Hey, Madison,
it's
if
okay.
this is who you are, it's okay.
Yep.
It's okay.
And
You can
that's
find it. You can find a home with us."
and you know
And but
what?
it's always interesting though when you know people may uh, be one way with their sexuality, and yet they still go to the party that actively tries to oppress you
Mhm.
know homosexuality, or that's what always boggles my mind. But I kind of understand it and I get it, and each in his own time, and when somebody is ready, and if that's what they ever want to do. I mean, there are many people that live their entire lives without wanting to be open about their sexuality, and I get that. And I've heard from people, well, it's not anyone's business what I do, and I get that. And I do, I really do.
Yep.
um
And before we move on, I just want to drive one final point home because we all everybody shared the pictures of him in the lingerie or whatever it was.
yeah,
We can make fun of somebody and still be supportive of them, in a
yeah.
situation like this. If he really is somebody who's dealing with this, we can still be supportive and make fun of him at the same time. It is possible.
The making fun of was, I think, in jest of the
What's
hypocrisy.
the hypocrisy? Exactly.
It's always the hypocrisy. And one of my favorite new things that I do online is GOP Hypocrisy Hotline,
Yeah,
because it
I like
is
that one.
it's one of my new series that I'm doing, because the reality of the situation is that they do the definition of hypocrisy is saying one thing and doing another, and
Yes.
it's always that simple with them. And it's just they come out and they say one thing and turn around and do a full 180.
It's crazy.
And we're just tired of the hypocrisy. Just be, that's the thing, be who you want to be. Fucking just stop lying. Like, just come on, people. I mean, I know that you're grabbing a base here, and I know that but if we could all just get together and realize, like, we actually don't care, it would be a little bit easier, instead of trying to vie for some base that, like, is a very small minority of people. I mean,
That
come on.
that's the kicker too, is there's I've discovered, at least this is just my experience and opinion, that
Yeah,
I have had a lot more, and I'm not just going to say gay, I'm going to say LGBTQ people in my life growing up than I ever imagined. Like,
yeah,
I can name two trans people off the top of my head that I went to high school with. I can
yeah.
name several gay people off the top of my head that I was legit friends with, still am. Yeah, I mean, it's it's a massive community, and there's a lot of people that belong to it, and there's a lot of people that belong to it and don't tell everybody.
Absolutely. And it's not anyone's right to ever out somebody. I
Mm,
mean, period. I
yep,
am a firm believer in that. Each in his own time, each in their own time, right?
yep, yep.
That's the way it should be.
I would
But
never want to
I,
out
I,
somebody.
like I said, I'm a firm believer in being who you are and embracing that. And I hope that in time, if this is the case, then maybe he can find a new home somewhere else. But
He's
and realize that,
be a good
there's
independent.
yeah, and you know what, that there's a different life out there, one where you don't have to fear being judged if you are like living your truth and living yourself. I mean, you know, take it or leave it. I will say, I mean, this is on the wrong end of the spectrum of this, but you think of somebody like Donald Trump, who is literally just like, I'm a liar, I'm a cheater, I'm an asshole. At least he is who he is, and he puts it out there as I mean, I can have my own feelings about that, but
Yeah,
he at least is. I am who I am for the most part. I mean, maybe not to his base, but to everybody else, we see right through that.
yeah.
But there's a beauty in just being who you are.
I absolutely agree. Yep. So moving on to
Hmm.
our next disaster. And for somebody asked, we were talking about Madison Cawthorn.
Hey, April.
Sorry. So our next topic of conversation is going to be the lovely, the evil Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh my God, Ryan! This we didn't even. I mean, it was over like the weekend, right? Her testimony, and it was Friday.
Well, it was
It was last Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
And you know what? It was probably a good thing because she would have just taken up the entire friggin' show if we did it last week.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Because I was so spun up on that Friday. Matter of fact, I get my Twitter back at midnight tonight. I got suspended for
Yay,
7 days
Ryan!
because of her and Lauren Boebert. Dang it! So
Oh
I gotta watch
man.
it this week.
Well, let's tag that onto this one of Marjorie Taylor Greene. You sent me the most interesting article. Apparently, those two went at it today,
Mm.
people.
Well,
So,
it wasn't, hang on, it wasn't today. It was the day before the State of the Union. So
ooh,
the day before they heckled Joe Biden during the State of the
okay,
Union, Lauren
okay.
Boebert and Margie Taylor Greene got into a shouting match behind closed doors when they had an executive or board meeting for the Freedom Something Caucus.
Spill that tea. See,
So,
not they're not always getting along, and and I guess what you in the article you sent me was like, Boebert doesn't like being attached to Marjorie Taylor
yep.
Greene,
She's like, I
and
do
you know
not
what?
like it.
I'm pretty sure after this last week with Marjorie Taylor Greene, there's going to be a lot of people and a lot of people in the GOP that are like, this girl is.
Well, you want to
I,
know?
I don't know if we can back that girl anymore because they've been giving her a lot of free reign. And when she was riling people up, but the moment I'll go real quick. The moment she was under any pressure, she buckled. I don't remember. I don't recall. I don't remember. I don't recall. I mean, I don't know how her base is taking that, but I would look at that as I'm scared. I know I did the wrong thing and I'm effed. Like if I even say what I actually was doing.
Uh, well, I think it's starting to add up. This Proud Boy that pled guilty today or yesterday.
I saw that, yeah.
It's starting to add up. But with Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think a big thing that's going on right now is that people like Lauren Boebert don't want to end up on the stand under oath the same way she just did, because they
Oh, yeah.
know that they're going to end up like Lauren Boebert would absolutely have to perjure herself,
Oh yeah.
just exactly like
Oh
Marjorie
yeah.
Taylor Greene did, and
Oh
she
yeah.
knows it. So they're starting. I think that this news campaign that we're starting to see of Lauren Boebert wanting to distance herself from Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think it's being done with some purpose right now, because
Oh yeah.
they don't want her to end up, they don't want her constituents to get a good idea and be like, oh, well, let's do what Marjorie Taylor Greene's constituents are doing and sue the crap out of her so she can't get on the ballot. And then that's going to stop the grift. They can't raise any more money because you're not,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, I just had a brilliant idea, and now that you're getting your Twitter back, I think
mm,
what you need to go do is go back through all these people's Twitter and see what little tweets of theirs start to disappear slowly but
oh,
surely. You know what I mean?
I'm not that person,
I know you're
unfortunately.
not, but anybody out there,
But
maybe
those,
that's the key to do.
oh,
Go and see who's.
they already are. They're already disappearing. There's
Oh
been
yeah,
people talking about it. They're like, "Oh, where'd this tweet go?"
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's they've got people. They're paying people to scrub their social media.
But too bad, so sad. I mean, that's the thing. TikTok, Instagram. I mean, people. The moment those people come
You
up,
screenshot.
screenshot. It's
Yep.
done. It's done.
Yep.
Like there's no escaping that. But I'm sure they're trying to scrub it, like you just said.
And for people that don't
Squeaky
understand
clean.
why everybody screenshot besides the folks that are very dedicated and take these screenshots and like say have them on their phone saved, I've seen a couple of them. You guys are amazing and you're crazy. Um, but one of the reasons that we take screenshots is because if you share directly from Marjorie Taylor Greene's page or Lauren Boeber's page, then all their freaky people that
Come to
follow
you.
them come to you because all they got to do is click and go, oh, look at the retweets and with the whatever my commentary
Oh, for
was,
sure.
and then they get all the interaction off of it. Their accounts get all the interaction off of it. So
Oh,
instead,
usually I don't stitch people if I'm trying to do something. It's a screenshot and then you move forward from there. Like that's it.
well, if it's a negative,
Yes, if it's
if
negative.
it's a negative video, yeah. But I always stitch my friends because
Well, that's fine. Stitching friends because you're not going to. That's a positive. But
stitching
stitching
positive
positive,
videos,
but
yeah,
stitching negative. And
yeah.
I
If you're
listen. Well, and I've had big creators where I've stitched people. Right. Let's say I stitched somebody like, or even if I did a screenshot of somebody, a big creator has actually like stitched me to get their portion of it instead of you. And then I got banned or I got a community guidelines violation.
yeah.
So. I don't. That's why I don't do call out videos anymore. FYI.
I mean, I've started doing more duets and stitches and stuff again, but there
Yeah.
was a while there that I didn't because of my my old account because I still don't know what exactly did it. So it's like, and I was getting violations off of other people's videos too, which I think is ridiculous. You should not get a violation because somebody's original video got a
Is
violation.
your old account? Do you still have the possibility of getting back? Is it still like
I think so.
you should continue trying and do more appeals and whatnot? Because I've heard of a lot of people that have had that happen and then they get it back.
I know 250,000 followers. It's just
That's
still,
harsh, man. That's harsh.
yeah. I'm happy and fortunate that I've gotten back up to 40 something now, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, that hurt. That hurt a lot.
I can't
It
imagine.
still hurts.
I know it does, and I can only
Especially
imagine.
because you see how big it's getting. Kim Kardashian did her first TikTok. Like they're starting to use TikToks the same way that they
They're
use.
all here, they're all here, man, and it's crazy.
Yep.
It's like once a place. I mean, we all came here in like our quest for some kind of normalcy during like COVID, right?
Mhm.
And then, or maybe not normalcy, maybe escaping normalcy, whatever. We were all coping with like the traumatic issues of COVID happening. We all came to TikTok, found a home,
Yep.
started finding creative outlets and all these things. But now you see, it's like Kim Kardashian's here, whatnot. I mean, shit, I'm still waiting to get a good viral video, man. And you see the material I put out, like it just doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, I've got one that went over 1 million on the new account, and then I've got a couple that I think are
I've
over
had
100.
one
Yeah,
on that one.
so I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene is still using social media. She's still finding ways to use social media, even though she's like banned on Twitter. Her personal account's banned on Twitter, but
Yeah.
she's still finding creative ways to use her what is it, government account. But the kicker was, did you see in the court case where she said, well, I don't approve everything that goes out on my account? And it's like, lady, do you know that that's why political candidates have to say paid for and approved by at the end of like
Yep.
everything? Like that's not a valid excuse.
Oh, her excuses were so.
Oh,
I mean, it only. I mean, literally, it took maybe 30 minutes of her being on that stand for people to get the ongoing fucking joke. Sorry to swear. The ongoing joke was, I don't recall. I don't know. I don't know. It was that prevalent. And I'm telling you, I did one for a TikTok and I actually like recorded like 45 minutes, right? I had more than enough. Even for the TikTok that I did, I cut out like 50 of her responses and I had cut them all. Oh my God. It was palpable watching her. I was
Mm.
just like dying. I don't know. I do not recall. And her smile on her face.
Oh, the little
I don't
smirk.
recall.
Yeah,
I
the
do not
smirk.
recall.
Like, you're
Um,
committing perjury with that look on your face.
do you think anything's going to happen of that with that? Excuse me.
I I I really, I know I'm about to have to blow my nose. I really don't know. I would, the the idealist in me would like to say yes,
Yeah.
that we're gonna, she literally sat there and everybody on the internet said, yeah, you just committed perjury, like
Yep.
everybody. So the fact that she has not been arrested for that yet is not very, not even cited. As far as I know, nobody's
Absolutely.
talking about, like, nobody that matters is actually talking about her being cited for perjury
Well,
at
and
all.
that's another thing. The freaking accountability here, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
another one of mine. GOP accountability hotline. I swear to God, what accountability? I mean, I am at least grateful that Donald Trump is now getting, you know, fined $10,000 a day at this moment. But are we going to see any accountability for Margie Taylor Greene? Yes, we are talking at crazy, and yes, she was smug. Absolutely,
That's
her
what got me.
smugness. Yeah, her smugness and her um, the cross got me.
How did that not, I did a post. I said,
I saw, I
how
loved it.
has that not caught on fire yet?
I know.
Like, somebody said it's because it's not touching her skin. That's why she hangs it so low.
Facts, no lies detected right there.
Yep.
It's so true.
By the
I
way, can I just ask you from a fashion standpoint, who
yeah,
who the fuck wears sleeveless, tight sleeveless dress to testify?
she's a gym girl, and she's proud of her accomplishments. I'm not going to knock her for that, and that's her style. That's what she likes. It's obviously the asset that she likes to put out there. So whatever, I'm not going to knock her. She doesn't have a bad body in any capacity, way, shape, or form. It's her brain that's broken, really. I mean, it's her brain and her personality that I'm not here for. But
Oh,
um
her face
but
looks like she got hit in the face with a sack of hot nickels
oh,
too.
be
Let's
nice, be nice. You
what?
know what? We're all not blessed to just be,
I know, but I
you
can
know,
admit that. Like, my teeth are horrible, but I can fix my teeth. She can't fix being a wretched bitch.
listen, I will go after many things on people, but I never go for looks on people most
Oh,
of the
I
time,
do.
unless it's Mitch McConnell,
See, and that's
because
how I feel
he
about
deserves
that's
it.
that's how I feel about Marjorie Taylor Greene. All the vile stuff she puts out, it's like, and then she goes around crying. Like, she was followed down the street by Jim Acosta the other
I
day. Did you see
saw.
that?
Oh my God,
And she's
yes.
bitching. She's like, "Stop harassing me!
You're a
Stop
liar.
harassing me!"
You're a liar. Oh my God,
Well, it was,
your news network is terrible. I don't know why they all turn Midwestern for me.
but
Your your news network is terrible.
but it was
That's what.
her being like, "You're harassing me." And the first thing that
Thank
came
you,
into my head
husband.
was, "Do I remember you chasing like a teenager down the road? Is he, a gun violence victim?
Yes,
And you're chasing him down the road, recording it for your own political propaganda bullshit. But when Jim Acosta does it, it's harassment. So once again, you're an evil, wretched woman
it's the
who
hypocrisy for me. Always. You just
exactly.
said it.
So it's cool if you did it to a teenager, but it's not okay for Jim Acosta, reporter, to do it to a sitting congresswoman. Got it. Thanks, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
But I think it always swings back to that hypocrisy on the right, doesn't it?
Hmm.
It always swings back to, so I want to do it because I think it's fine for me, but for you, absolutely not. And
Yep.
you can take that for any subject
No, it's
in the
totally
news
true.
these days.
It's totally
And
true.
and she was a perfect example of that. But I am surprised she didn't catch on fire because of all her lies and the cross around her neck.
Somebody should
But
have been throwing holy water on her. Like,
the power. I actually, you know what? Can I tell you? No, can I tell you? I actually did a TikTok once. I actually did the exorcism of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I think I
It,
remember seeing that one
no,
actually.
well, I mean, it immediately got cited, and I took clips from The Exorcist.
I
and I
remember
clipped
seeing
it
that one.
together. I'll send it to you because I'm pretty sure, well, they cited it immediately as sensitive content, so nobody saw it. It got like 100 likes or, maybe like 500
I could have
views.
swore I saw it. Maybe I didn't.
It was really funny because it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, or not The Exorcist. There's this one movie where the woman looks very similar to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Uh,
I don't remember the name right now, but I used that and it was really funny. And
it,
you know what? Maybe I should resurrect it now because
it's a-
it's very apropos.
it's always the sorry, just became a top viewer. Hey, Superwoman, thank you.
Hey, it's Lindsay.
Yeah, it's always the
Fine for me,
videos
but
that
not
would
for
be
thee.
really funny too. That I got one taken down the other day. It was a ship stuff, and I tried to do an OSHA video. They got it
Oh
for
yeah.
dangerous activities. I'm like, but
Ain't no rhyme and reason to TikTok. Who
because it's on
knows?
Epic Fails, like it's on
Yeah,
the
right.
Epic Fails TikTok page. Oh, so they can have it, but the minute I do a stitch with it.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
let's take it down and cite my account for doing a funny OSHA video. Oh God. Yeah, let me
I
go
know,
right
right?
back to being a horrible political commentary that's always pissed off about the world. God forbid I do something funny.
And you know what? I'm going to use this as a segue
Yes, good segue.
because it is a good segue because let's talk about the new Elon Musk Twitter and the whole "I'm buying this for free" speech kind of shenanigans that are going on. This was a huge bullshit. Another one of the hypocrisy for the hypocrisies, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Tell me what are your thoughts on Elon Musk buying Twitter?
I think
It's not finalized yet, so there's still. I should preface there's still a possibility of him
it,
backing out and
it's
losing money, which he wouldn't care about.
yeah.
Isn't it great?
I'm this is one of those times where I really hope I'm wrong
Yeah.
because I really enjoy Twitter. I
Yeah.
enjoy the platform I've built. I enjoy the community that I'm a part of on there. Some really cool people follow me on there. So I really don't want to see the platform go to crap.
Yeah.
With that said, my opinion of Elon Musk is not very favorable.
Mine
For
either.
for many reasons. Personally, I don't care what good you're trying to do in the world if you're a complete piece of garbage and do like the opposite of what you're saying you're going to do.
Yep.
If you say that you're going to donate $6 billion or whatever it is to world hunger, if they can prove to you that if they use your money right, they could actually solve the problem, and when they actually take you up on it and then you don't give them the money, that makes you a piece of garbage.
Absolutely. That I was just going to
Summon
say
up
that.
$40 billion to purchase Twitter, but you can't summon up money to actually help other people, that makes you a piece of garbage.
100%.
And here's the kicker. All these Republicans and conservatives who like are sucking on this dude's what? Here's the part I don't understand.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't born here. He came from a bunch of money in South Africa. His dad owned a freaking a diamond mine. And he
Yep.
came here when he was like 17 or 18 and
Mhm.
originally went to Canada, lived in Canada for a while, and then came here. So
Yep.
he was South African and Canadian before he was ever American.
I wonder what the reason is. Could it be white? And that's the thing. People don't see white people as immigrants. First off, on the right, you have to acknowledge that
Yeah,
on many,
absolutely.
many, many aspects. It's not, and and that shouldn't be a thing in and of itself. But the fact that they use that so many times to try to justify, their racism,
Mhm.
all the time.
You know
So
where
that needs
half
to
the
be
money,
acknowledged.
where half of the profit comes from for Tesla?
Hmm.
China.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh,
China,
he's incredibly beholden to them. And they make they manufacture a lot of his parts and things like that.
Mhm.
I mean,
he,
I know all about that. Yeah, yeah.
he has a massive interest in China's economy,
Yeah.
and he has so many relationships there to make that happen. That's what I don't think a lot of people really grasp is the amount of relationships it takes to be able to do that kind of business in China.
Yep.
And for
Blood
him,
diamonds. Yep.
and for I have a hard time believing that somebody that supports the way the Chinese government's operating, Donald Trump, the Republican Party, I really struggle to think that this man is not going to take this company private and turn it into a shit show. And
Oh.
that's my honest fear. So
Well, I think what boggles my mind, to me, is that most people are like, this is a bad investment. Like, period. Like, I mean, Twitter is not like the end all be all of social media at this point, right? However, it is like,
it's one of the main pillars, though.
it is a main pillar, but it's not the investment that he's putting in. He paid more than what it's worth. That is a fact.
Well,
that's what they were saying, that he paid more than what it's worth.
Hang on a second.
Go ahead.
It depends on how you're evaluating it.
Sure.
They're evaluating it as a public company. Now evaluate it as a private company.
Well, but think about what he's already lost. Tesla stock has already started going down and down and down.
That'll come back up.
I know it will come back up. I'm sure it will. I mean, but that's
now,
the thing. It doesn't. The thing is, I also want to acknowledge it also doesn't matter to him. He could literally do whatever he wanted. I mean, I think we've all seen the memes out there right now where they're constantly like, what else am I going to buy? Like, what else can you buy? And he's like, I'm going to, and like people are making up funny memes.
Put Coke back
yes.
in it.
Yeah. And I just saw one where and Coca-Cola, someone's meme said, and Coca-Cola responded, it wasn't really Coca-Cola, I don't think. But they responded, well, if you put that back in, then Don Jr. would never leave us alone. But and I was like,
it would
share the stories on that one.
It would save him a trip to the store, though, wouldn't it?
It would. And you know what? Maybe that would be the productiveness the rest of the world needs. Maybe that's what we need in this moment. Who knows?
Yeah,
after COVID,
I have enough vices of my own. I don't need that one.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But no, it's. I think it's more important than people realize, because what Elon Musk and others are calling it is true. It is a public square. It is one of the main public squares on social media. And to control that, and to control the advertisement that goes out on it, to control the content, he has the control of that social media space now. That's a big freaking deal, especially when it's coming from somebody who I don't think is a very moral person. No, he can sit there and say whatever he wants, but he's gotten a crap ton of money from not just our government. He got $1.6 billion given to him by the Chinese government. So
I would say, I dare I say, out of touch with actual reality. And when somebody is also that rich, he also came from money. So boy has already built a life where he is out of touch with reality, right, Ryan? I mean, it's like he comes from privilege. His privilege got him where he's at. Absolutely, he has worked hard, but hard work to that amount of, replication from that. I what's the word? Reciprocity from that kind of work. It's not equal. I mean, you could have $200,000 a day since America was started, since Christopher Columbus. I saw this today. Since Christopher Columbus landed in America, and if you were given $200,000 a day, you would literally still not have $44 million. I mean, he has more money than he even knows what to do with. So he can make these flippant ideas and decide to do whatever he's going to do and make even more money. I mean, in our lifetime, we're going to see trillionaires. Mm-hmm. And they've said this, trillionaires.
It's going to be here before you know it. It's the thing to remember too is that it's not just having the money, it's having the access to money. Yeah. Elon Musk isn't necessarily worth a crap, all this shit ton of money. He's got a bunch of money compared to us.
You're so right, though.
But he just borrowed half of the $40 billion that he's using to buy Twitter. He borrowed it. Mm-hmm. So it's not like dude walked in with, briefcases full of $44 billion and said, I'm the richest. Well,
have you ever heard him talking about the days where he didn't know if Tesla. Watch the interviews. I've used them for footage of mine, where he goes, that I put everything into Tesla, and I didn't think we were going broke. We were making negative money, and it's this woe is me kind of story
Mhm.
to like grab you into like feel good for me. I've made it myself. I really. It's not like you didn't step on the backs of so many people to get to what you have, and used and abused the system. I think that's the case with him,
Well, him and
especially
Trump
with
is well,
the
that's how they both made their money.
the subsidies that he has gotten
Yep.
from the US government. And even in my comments to this day, people are still adamant that he does not get subsidies. And I'm like, let me send you this article. Let me send you this one. Let me show you. But I mean, this man has
Not just from the
absolutely,
United States. He gets
well,
subsidies from China.
and can we just, what just happened with SpaceX, is using their satellites to assist in Ukraine?
Hmm.
Remember when that happened? And it was like everyone thought that this was some altruistic, like Elon Musk thing that he was doing. Nope, got paid by the government,
Which
like
government?
the US government.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no, I mean, it's not bad. I'm not, that's the thing, I'm not saying it's bad, but he also got this like oomph of like being
Yeah, there are
altruistic, and
people
like
that were, yeah, you got a pat on
people
the
think
back,
that
like,
he's this like philanthropist that's just like shelling out his money, because he really could. I mean, if he wanted to. I mean,
yeah.
at the end of the day,
Take a lesson from Jeff Bezos' wife. She's doing it as we speak.
she's boss, man. She's boss.
Yeah, she's giving away a crap ton of money already. So, like you said, if these guys wanted to solve like actual world problems, like I don't
Sure.
know, world hunger, shit like that, the housing crisis, anything, you could pick a bunch of things. And by the way, can I just say, what kind of legacy would that be? Not flying a dick spaceship, into space, but actually
Gotta be the shape of a dick. They love.
being
I mean, it's
the
so crazy.
man or woman that ended world hunger, that made sure everybody had a home, that made sure every kid
Yep.
had broadband to go to school, that made sure every teacher was getting paid, uh, all the things that you guys could put your money into, and you decide to be a bunch of spoiled brats with a bunch of high-priced toys looking down on the rest of us saying, enjoy, because you need
You
us
know
to
what?
be your workers, is what it is.
You know what you deserve for that, Ryan? A slow clap.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Like in the 80s movies, 90s movies? No, absolutely. That's the jam right there. You have the opportunity to be. The fact that the UN came out and said for $6.6 billion, you could end world hunger. I mean, you could end world hunger. You can do it. It can happen. And it's like,
What's my Twitter?
nah, bitch. Because for 4 times over, I'm gonna buy Twitter and be like, free speech, bitch. I'm gonna bring back Donald Trump. Like, I don't know.
I
And
will
that's the thing.
struggle if
Even
Trump
for
comes back. I will
it
struggle.
he probably will. I mean, I can't imagine
He said he
somebody
won't
doing.
come back. I hope he actually falls through on that one.
I think he
Uh,
came out. I actually think he posted for the first time on Truth Social today. Um, don't quote me on that, but I think he might have. So,
I thought I read it
uh,
somewhere else. Okay,
yeah,
so I just want to say
yeah,
one. Do you have anything in particular to say about Russia and Ukraine besides the fact that we both support Ukraine and Russia can go?
yeah. The only thing that I have to say about that is I am, obviously every day just feels more nauseating than the next, and
Yeah,
it's just watching the atrocities that are happening there, especially towards women,
yeah,
the rape, the and then the subsequent aftermath of what's happening there. Yeah, war is senseless, and it's very painful, and it's hurtful, and it makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. And this isn't just in Ukraine; it's all over the world.
yeah.
But the only thing I will say is I read a very interesting article, and I want everyone to hear this. And I was telling Ryan before the show, and I thought this was the weirdest thing, that Russia is now using dolphins to protect. I know, it's so weird. They are using dolphins to protect their ships. They have trained dolphins in Russia. So don't ever, I think, discount what Russia can do, because obviously they're freaking training dolphins right now. And I think that's
Makes me wonder what America's training.
you know what? If we're not training dolphins at this point, I'm going to be highly disappointed to where my tax. Where the fuck are my tax dollars going? If you're not training dolphins,
you know where it's going,
something.
Maggie? Fuck dolphins. We're training sharks. That's where it's going. Okay.
Laser sharks, like in Dr. Evil.
Laser beams on their
freaking. Okay.
We just showed our age. I want you to know that.
Can I just say something? I just thought of how to make that dolphin thing an actual fucking funny thing. I'm going to use laser sharks. That's my TikTok for tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Don't steal it from me.
You see, can't tell everybody the plan.
It's okay. I don't really care. Whatever, man. It's memetics, man. It's memetics, man. And
I need your help with one of my funny videos.
I can help you. I am literally, my brain is constantly thinking about like funny shit to do.
Okay.
And
so, because we're on 50 minutes. So, I really want to get to this last one.
Johnny Depp, man.
Yes. I want to
Johnny
get to this.
Depp.
I've actually spent some time watching this case.
Obsessed.
Holy mother of God. This is going to be a movie in and of itself.
You bet your freaking sweet ass it will be.
Oh my God.
Obsessed. I am obsessed with it.
Because
I love Johnny Depp. I've always loved Johnny Depp. And I love Depp because he was the quirky, like actual, like real actor.
Yeah, you like weird guys.
Oh, I do. I love weird guys. That's Zoo. Don't get me started. You know, me and Steve Buscemi. But I love me some Johnny Depp. I mean,
no,
a mega pint. A mega pint.
The mega pint.
I poured myself a large glass of wine,
which I felt appropriate at.
And I was like, "You are my spirit animal, my motherfucker."
What I loved was every time he'd look over at him, waiting for him to object, he'd start talking. He'd be like. And then as soon as he could start talking again, the guy'd be like, object, you know.
I mean, already I can just tell you are Team Johnny, right?
Well, listen.
Okay.
I have zero love for Amber Heard. And I've always appreciated Johnny Depp for a lot of reasons. I watched him back in like 24 Jump Street because my brother used to watch that show.
Oh, for sure.
And I was younger, but I would watch it with him. So I mean, you know, I knew of Johnny way before Pirates of the Caribbean, but he's one of those guys you don't hear much negative about, you know. Yeah. And when you go back to Madison Cawthorn and what we said, there are some things that go on in people's lives that's none of our freaking business. And the guy's been very open that yes, he's done drugs, yes, yes, he drinks, yes, he does all this shit, but it doesn't negate what has happened, and nor should it. So it's really been unfortunate to see him have to show the world, you know, some of the most negative things about him, you know, publicly.
Oh, I watched him today.
I didn't watch.
I shouldn't say today. I watched a TikTok.
Oh,
and from the trial, but I watched him talking about the abuse that he got as a child.
Yeah.
And, you know, my heart bleeds for him because, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I mean, Johnny Depp actually got his start because of Nicolas Cage, actually, because Nicolas Cage was friends with like his sister, and Johnny Depp was like in a band and like they knew each other, and he was like, you should start acting. You should start. And he became one of the most like quirky, authentic actors, even of my generation. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Edward Scissorhands. I was just about to say. I mean, the movies that he takes, he was always this avant-garde, like amazing actor that really took roles because they spoke to him, and it was, I think, an amazing thing where he could play somebody like Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean because it allowed him to be the character actor that he was, or that he is, the incredible character actor that he is, and also, you know, still be this like the Johnny Depp that we know and love, right? Because I mean, if you've been a stan of Johnny Depp, I mean, Benny and June, I mean, I adore him, and when I look at this case, and when I hear all the things that I've heard, as I think the most damning one for me was the one where Amber Heard is yelling at him and be like, "Take it to the judge, Johnny." I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but take it. Hi, everyone. Take it to the judge, Johnny. See who you if they believe that
Nobody's
Johnny
gonna.
Depp is being hurt by a woman, is being domestically violenced by a woman or whatever. Paraphrase, obviously, but that's what got me because I was like, oh, that's who she is. She wanted him. She wanted to keep him. She was highly manipulative. That's my stake on the whole thing. And I am very much always inclined to believe the woman when it comes to domestic violence.
Mm,
But you have also seen moments of him being incredibly outraged and incredibly upset where she was filming him, maybe even trying to get a reaction from him, and he didn't bite.
yep.
And the fact that she had tried so many times to actually film him, and this man is so kind and genuine that he was actually trying to be like, let's just squash this. And she's like, just kidding. I'm going to go to the tabloids and like write some shit and ruin your career. It was like because he didn't want her anymore. She was scorned and she went to the wrong way. And unfortunately, it ruined his career. And he should absolutely be suing her for that money. And I truly hope that she wins. I
Well,
really, or he wins, not she.
I knew what
I
you meant.
really, truly hope that he wins. I really do. And I think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think he'll recover. I think people will start hiring him again,
Oh,
seeing what's gone down, and um, like I said, he's somebody who doesn't have a lot of negativity surrounding him. Like his drug stuff. Yeah, we've all known that for fucking
yeah,
years, but you know he doesn't do bad shit. You know what I mean? And if you listen to some of the people that have come up there and talked about him, he's a very, like you said, he's a very generous man.
yeah,
And but the one thing I want to drive home to top this off is, um, like you said, this happens, and there are men out there that are literally being abused by the women in their lives, and they don't know what to do.
absolutely.
And I had something like this happen to me, but I didn't have a problem like walking away because you're a psycho. But I literally had a girlfriend in between my marriages, and she punched me in the face one day, and
Wow.
she said, "Come on, big bad military guy, hit me." I looked at her, I was like, "You're crazy! Like I'm not hitting you, but I'm
Well,
gonna."
and that takes a lot of restraint to be like, to take that kind of abuse. It's like, but that, understandably, that there's reasons why she wanted to do that. And that's why there was a psychologist there, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
know, talking about it. And the thing is, I do feel bad for Amber Heard to a certain degree because I think in her heart of hearts, she probably never wanted it to ever go this far, but she was just not thinking clearly one step in front of the other kind of thing.
well,
And we have to acknowledge that even the doctor was saying she has a mental illness. So it is something to acknowledge, right? I think, right?
that and that I was actually about to say that,
Okay, go. Sorry.
is that well, no, I just meant I was gonna stop you to say that point, and then you said it is all I meant.
Yeah.
But no, exactly right. She clearly suffers. And again, speaking from experience, being bipolar myself, there's absolutely shit that I've done in manic episodes that you look back on, you're like, fuck, like I
Yeah.
really wish I hadn't done that. But there's different levels of mental health. I deal with something that's not as bad as what others deal with. And, it sounds like Amber Heard probably deals with something much worse than what I do. And if that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
case, not making excuses for her, but mental illness does do things like this to you, and it can make somebody
Oh, yeah.
very easily detached from situations, or somebody like her who can turn it on and turn it off, which is what a lot of people are explaining, which is the BPD
Absolutely.
side of it. Um, so I mean, clearly she has mental health. Clearly that unfortunately bled over into Johnny's life, through their
Yeah.
marriage. Um, I tell people all the time, my wife deals with me. I'm bipolar. I still have episodes, even though I'm medicated. They're nowhere near as bad,
Yeah.
but my wife still has to deal with that shit. So Johnny still had to deal with her. however, whatever it was manifesting. And if she wasn't getting any help, like if she wasn't taking medication and admitting that she does have a mental health issue, which it sounds to me like she hasn't, yeah. So Johnny Depp was left to have to deal with this.
Well,
And
and it just sucks that like what I've heard is that he tried to make this go away. He didn't want it to go to this extent. He didn't want it to go to this trial, and he was just kind of like, "Why are you doing this to me?" She
mhm.
brought it. She kept bringing it to this like level, and it's like he's like, "We didn't need to. I never wanted this to be public for people to know." And now all their laundry's coming out, and unfortunately for her, the laundry is looking, pretty bad on her side, and
She painted him into a corner. Absolutely.
absolutely.
She forced his hand to have to come out and defend his reputation, his career,
Yeah.
everything. And like you said, I think
Yeah.
it's definitely gone his way. But I will say the same thing I've said the whole time, which is the one thing is true in this is that neither of them are angels. You
Oh, for
know,
sure.
there's
Yeah.
there's clearly been a back and forth, but we have to give a lot of credit to somebody who's being abused to that degree to still not put his hands on her. You know,
Absolutely.
like, and I'm talking like, I know, I think there's a question of if he hit her with something like in one picture, but what I'm talking about is we're not seeing any medical documentation or police
Well, I
reports
mean,
of Johnny beating the shit out of Amber Heard.
you've seen you. I don't know if you've heard about the makeup thing, right?
That
Have
that
you
they
heard?
think it was done by a makeup artist.
No, no, no. Okay, so actually, her lawyer presented that Amber would walk around with this certain makeup palette. This is why this whole case for me, I'm like, oh, Johnny, I feel bad. And this was actually thank you for TikTok and social media. She came out saying I would carry this makeup around. It's this certain makeup that like reduces red and like bruising and things like that.
Mhm.
And and then she came out saying, I would bring this in my purse to patch myself up all the time because of Johnny's abuse. But what actually came out was that makeup was not even in production until like 2017. And she was claiming this in like 2015 or something like that.
Mm.
So it was a blatant lie. So there are these that things that she keeps getting caught in these blatant lies about what she's trying to prove. Because right now it's defamation against defamation. She's suing him, he's suing her, and he's like, you've literally ruined my career, so I'm coming for you. And he's said it blatantly, see you in court. He's
Yep.
smart enough and he says, see you in court. But there have been lies and lies and lies. And even her team, they're objecting to their own questions at this point.
That was hilarious.
Hilarious, right? It's like, come on, dude. Like, I just saw a TikTok of Amber Heard's lawyer. It's like, she's moving the paper up and down. I don't know. This is a Sears catalog.
I know. Every time Johnny'd be like, "Yes, Mr. Rottenborn."
Yes.
But no,
The thing is, I truly hope that he gets his career back. I am 100%
I hope
wanting
that
him to get what he lost back from this. I
yes.
feel terrible that he has to sit here and expose himself because it's being televised. For what reason, I do not know. I feel incredibly shameful that we are all watching this, seeing this, and people are making TikToks on it. But I mean, I understand there's like a desire and a feed for it, but it's also,
Yeah, we're watching it.
well, of course,
It's it is. It's
unfortunate,
unfortunate.
man. You
But you want to
can't.
know what the Margie Taylor Greene trial proved to me? That
Mm,
every January 6th, every person that's on trial for anything that had to do with January 6th, their trial needs to be public. It needs to be televised so that we can all see it.
agreed.
Because if they're saying
Agreed.
stuff under oath that like Margie Taylor Greene did to cover their ass for January 6th, we all need to see that shit. Because guess what,
Spot
guys?
on.
We all saw what happened January 6th. So if they sit on the stand and say a bunch of stuff, we're gonna go, excuse me, that
Oh, so spot on, Ryan.
that isn't what happened, and
Yep.
you're lying. So
Yep.
I want to see these court cases public now, because if we can publicize the shit out of Johnny Depp and embarrass this man for
Agreed.
really no reason, in my opinion, we're publicly embarrassing him for no reason.
Yep.
So if we can do that, we can absolutely be broadcasting every single one of those court cases. None of them should be closed to the public.
That is a brilliant point, period. Because the fact that we are sensationalizing pretty much the wrong thing right now. What needs to be shown is the real bad stuff that really needs to be shown.
Yep.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, however, I'm very, very happy that was televised. I know everyone, I heard people were like staying home from work. They're like, oh, I'm fucking staying home from work. I got my popcorn and my drinks ready. Like, let's go, Marjorie. And it did not disappoint because she was halfway through. Everyone was like, all right, this is crazy. She's crazy, bitch. All right, gotta go.
I was live tweeting. I think that's why I got in trouble.
Anyway. Well, you know what? You have to understand, beware, because especially in these moments, those people pay bot farms to come after you. Right in those moments. You know that, right?
Yeah, Sadia's been educating me on bot farms and other things, social media. So I'm learning. But with that said, I think it's a good time for us to unplug. And so before I shut down, do you got anything, Megs?
I just want to say thank you guys for coming, and we love you so much. We'll be here next Friday, and thank you for coming to This and That with Maggie and Ryan.
Yes. And I will say,
follow us on YouTube.
Yes, please do follow us on YouTube. You can follow my Twitch. All my links are in my bios on all my social media. So please go follow, and make sure you follow Maggie's stuff too. We broadcast our show only to our YouTube channels, so that's the only place you can see them. But with that said, please remember that it is election season. I know that you're tired of the emails and text messages and fundraising things and this, that, and the other, but we can't afford to be complacent, guys. We got to still focus. We got elections to win, especially in these red states. So please, please, please find candidates. If you've got $5, don't spend it on a coffee. Send it to a candidate, because they're going to do way better things with it than that coffee is going to do for you. With that said, I'll leave you as I always do with much love. Keep fighting, and we'll see you next week.
Love you guys.